Liverpool are at Molineux, and we've got Arne Slot's words ringing in our ears at the moment. He says, in the Premier League, if I watch other leagues, I don't think there's so much emphasis on set pieces. Slot basically suggesting that in terms of entertainment value, is pretty much gone at the moment out of the Premier League. He says he doesn't get much of a buzz out watching Premier League football at this particular time. Jason Burton, The Telegraph, agrees this season has unfortunately moved too far from the beautiful game. It is infused with a cynicism, a gamesmanship, a lack of creativity and an overcoaching that is affecting how teams are playing. That is harming the spectacle. Is that right, Simon? Corner kicks. Are you bored by corner kicks? I mean, you made a great point to me if you want to repeat it in the commercial break.
Well, I was just saying, what's the purpose of a corner kick if you can't score from it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. The crowd gets up. When you get a corner, the crowd's expectations you're going to do something with it. Is the preference not to do something with it? Is the preference not to have footballers that can hit a football on a sixpence like they can? Watching Declan Rice and Saka being able to hit the ball where they should be able to hit the ball from a corner, turn it into an offensive weapon, to me is a skill. Now, if there's not enough open play skill going on, we can have that debate, but just utilising the fact that corner kicks and free kicks are something now that can be vilified as a way a team are being successful.
Yeah, but I suppose people in yesteryear used to batter Stoke City for being like, you're like a rugby team. It's all about up and at 'em. Corner kicks, free kicks, in it comes, take cover. Now they're at it. Of course, they're all at it.
That was predicated upon the Rory Delap long throw into the box, hurl them up there like you do in the last minute of a game when you're losing 1-0 in the FA Cup and you stick your goalkeeper up there. There was an element of that, but I don't think that's the staple diet. I think it's in the fabric of football. This idea that you can be overcoached. So when a team is not performing at a high level, not doing their jobs, they're undercoached. There's no happy medium with sections of the media.
Right.
If a team isn't set up well, they're undercoached. If a team is set up well and knows its job and is disciplined in its outcomes, it's overcoached.
Well,
are we killing
flair? Where are the flair players?
That's what I was going to say to you next. Are we killing flair? Because I can remember the days in the 70s when Charles Hughes was the thinking capital behind British football, and all it was about big boys and big footballers that didn't have the capabilities to be able to compete with the European counterparts that had all the talent and flair. Given the fact that the league is not just recruited, I mean, Arsenal are the land of the giants, I hear you.
Yeah.
But notwithstanding that, there's a lot of technically good footballers in there. Saka is not a giant. Eze is not a giant. They're flair players. Now, what they're going to say is that these flair players are having some of the flair taken away from them because they're being asked to do other functions. Yet when they don't do those functions, I mean, one thing we saw with Jack Grealish was the change in his game under Pep Guardiola, which we all applauded, which is a maturing of his game, a bit more work ethic, rather than just going forward. We can't have it always.
Well, it's entertainment value versus tactical chess. Is it a fine balance? And is Slot right? Is top-flight football a worse watch today, or are people guilty of looking at yesteryear with rose-tinted glasses? Having said that, where are the Gazas? Where are the Thierry Henrys? Where are the Ryan Giggs? Is that what Slot's driving at? You tell us. Ricky, good morning. He's your manager, mate. You're a Liverpool fan. What do you make of it?
Good morning, Jim. Morning, Simon. Well, I disagree strongly with Arne Slot. I think our league is the best league in the world, is what Simon said, because I think it's the most competitive league. Where else, what other league do you see where a team sitting top of the league goes to the team bottom of the league, and the team bottom of the league gives the team top of the league a good game for their money and sometimes gets the result?
Yeah, and to be fair, Slot did say it's competitive, Ricky. Here's the thing, though. Is it a good watch?
I think it's a good watch. I find it intriguing to watch. When you sit, I think Sunderland have been great since they've come up and made our league great. I think it's a great watch.
Fair enough.
I find the game's intriguing. I mean, it's competitive. That's what you want to see, a good game of competitive football.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what Slot's complaining about is because he's not dealing with set pieces and long balls that he keeps going on about. That's what I take from it.
Good point. Ricky, thanks for the call. Another Liverpool fan, Kenny. Kenny, good morning. Where'd you stand on this?
Hello. Did he say he was a Liverpool fan then, did he say? Yes.
Yes, he did, mate. He did, yes. You are.
I can't believe it. And he thinks that's a good watch. Listen, I don't agree with everyone Arne says, Arne Slot says, especially this season. But, I mean, I've got to agree with what he said this season. We're going to games week in, week out. And games are just decided now on set plays. Now, listen, I know that's not a new thing. I get all that. There's different ways of just getting a catch. I remember back in the day, obviously, Simon's team, when he's done us in the semi-final in Villa Park on set plays. Great game. But that was, but that was like few and far between. And you know what I mean? That's just how it was then. But now, do we think this is going to be right? A team's going to win our Premier League based on set plays. Because for me, that's what Arsenal's all about. Surely we don't want this as a Premier League, like a good look, a team that's just so dominant on set plays, got their own coaches, and like a lot of clubs have got as well, by the way. But they're going to win our Premier League solely for me, based just on set plays. That's how they're
but
winning
Kenny,
games.
is it not up to other sides to come up with a solution to combat it?
Of course it is. But I mean, it's very hard to combat it when there's 20 players in and around 6-yard box. I don't know how you do combat that. I mean, that's just a nightmare. It's like a conundrum for everybody.
So, Kenny, you think football's a worse watch today than it was some years ago?
Listen, I go to the game now, and I'm far enjoying the Champions League now at the moment, because for me the Champions League it's back to where it should be. It's all about football. It's all technical players. It's good It's good to watch the Champions League against the Premier League. Premier League's not just all based on set plays, corners, throw-ins, free kicks. The Champions League, it's all about football, and you know what? It's a really good watch, the Champions League, in comparison. It's not sour grapes because we're not going to win the league this season. It's not about sour grapes. It's about being entertained.
Fair enough, Kenny. You've made your points very well, mate. Thank you very much indeed. So many of you want your say in this. We'll stick with it. A lot more coming after this. It's 10:30. Liverpool play Wolves tonight, one of 4 Premier League matches, and Slot has been speaking ahead of this game. And he's been making the point, according to him, if I watch the other leagues, I don't think there's so much emphasis on set pieces. My football heart doesn't like it. If you ask me, thinking about football, I think about the Barcelona team from 10 to 15 years ago. Has he got a point? That's what we're asking this morning. Is he right? Is top flight football a worse watch today, or are people guilty of looking at yesteryear with rose tinted glasses? So many of you want your say on this. 03717 223344. Liam, Chelsea fan, you've been waiting a while, mate. Good morning. What do you want to say on this?
Hiya, lads. First of all, great show as always, and the two of you are legends, so just to let you know that.
Oh, Liam, thank you.
No bother at all. But no, I think he's got a point, Arne Slot, because at the end of the day, like Jim, like the quality of football has changed, and like it's so predictable now. It's like sideways, backwards, and you're paying an extortionate amount of money just to to watch football, and it's just like put the ball in the box. Like I'm literally screaming at the telly, like put the ball in the box, like do the fundamentals, like overlap defenders. But the quality, it's changed now completely, and like there's not those players that you see like Zola or Bergkamp or Scholes back in the day. It's
entertainers.
It's very predictable. Yeah, exactly, and it's very robotic now. It's like coaches are telling them how to play football, and it's not actually saying go and express yourself. Just flourish, like show what you can do.
Right. So Liam, if I was to ask you, should managers like Slot be in the space of criticising their own product, you would say yes, because he's making a valid point.
Oh, absolutely. Like he is making a valid point. And look, a lot changes in 20 years. And but again, you shouldn't, like at the end of the day, you should allow players to go and express themselves and, you know, show good quality football, be entertaining. And again, but like just not getting like too far away in terms of the fact that it's robotic.
Okay, good points. Thanks for that. Andrew's a Villa fan. Andrew, good morning. Are you surprised somewhat at Simon's comments earlier? Am I right in saying that?
Well, I was. Good morning, boys. Sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit there. What I will say, I'm glad you guys had a lovely walk this morning, a nice spring walk. I had. I'm on my 8th viewing of the Gruffalo this morning, so that's fun with a 2-year-old.
I've been down that route, mate.
What I was going to pick up on, on the face of it, what he says about goalkeepers, I mean, look at the Chelsea goalkeeper at the weekend. That cross come in the box, and he was ranting and raving, and one replay later, and he wasn't even touched at all. So I think, and again, going back to what you said, Jim, about Stoke was one team in the league that played like that.
Yes.
Now kind of everyone is playing like that.
Yeah.
So I think what us fans are like, I think we pick up on things because there's so many games that we can watch now. I think it's quite easy for us to just be overblown by all the corners. I mean, me personally, on the face of it, I think it can be quite boring. But also what Simon said, a good corner leads to a goal. I think I read on The Athletic last year, the average time the ball's in play is about 50 minutes, something like that.
Right, of the 90.
If you look at the Old Firm game at the weekend, if you look at the Old Firm game at the weekend, I think that game, why everyone loves that game so much around the world, is because it's two teams trying to win. And I think what Simon said about two big teams in the Premier League trying to play each other, it kind of they're trying not to lose. And if Sky uses a trailer to say Arsenal v Man United or Chelsea v Tottenham, quite often it's highlights from the 90s. Because they're playing on nostalgia of those old games.
That's a good point, Andrew. That is a very good point. Many good points in there. Look after your little one this morning, mate. Darren, Stoke fan. Stoke fan, Darren. My goodness.
Good morning, boys. Great show. First time listening to your show. It's great. Simon, keep up the honesty. I love it. I love how you see it. It makes me chuckle, Jim, because all these teams are doing set pieces in long throws, and the last caller touched on it. When we were in the Premier League, we were absolutely crucified for the way we played, set pieces, long balls. Arsene Wenger even called us a rugby team, and it makes me laugh now. You watch Match Today, and it's always long throws and set pieces, and that's why I don't like the Premier League. I prefer it in the Championship. We don't have VAR. There's no controversy every single week, and just to watch all these Premier League teams relying on long balls and long throws and set pieces, and the way Arsenal criticised us. But we were crucified.
I remember, Darren. So is top flight football today a worse watch than it was maybe 15, 20 years ago? Would you think, Darren?
Yeah, I think it is, and in all honesty, and I think a lot of Stoke fans and probably a lot of other fans, Championship clubs, I don't want to be in the Premier League anymore. I prefer it in the Championship. It's more competitive. It's proper football, and all the Premier League is just controversy all the time, moaning and groaning. I prefer it in the Championship where proper football's being played.
Simon, what do you make of Darren? He prefers his club Stoke to be in the Championship. You're going to get your way on that one, probably.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, I've been in the Championship for a long time with Palace, and I've been in the Premier League, and I know where I always prefer to be. I know that there's an element of, there seems to be more authenticity in the Championship. You don't have to deal with the indignations of VAR and whatever else that goes with it, and it's the league that really patronises the English game. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I think you pay for quality, you get quality on the whole. If you look at the Premier League and you talk about these mercurial players, they exist. Semenyo's a mercurial player, Saka's a mercurial player, Eze's a mercurial player. You know, Fabian Weiss that Liverpool bought is a mercurial player that's just not brought all of it to the surface yet. You can talk about Cole Palmer. You can go down the list of all the clubs and look at these players that are players that would stack up against players of the past and say these are top quality footballers. Football is slightly different now. Yes, it's more technical than it was before, but also so is the competency across the board.
People like Darren, the Stoke fan, one of a number, coming to air this morning saying our eyes don't lie. We don't really like what we're watching,
and that's fine. And you know, if we do a straw poll, and the Vox Pop perspective is that people don't like the way football's being played, then I'll bow to that. But anecdotal evidence isn't necessarily the guideline for what people think. What people think is how many broadcasters around the world are paying for it, how long it sustains itself, and how many people are watching it around the world. I take on board the point. I can't row back against it and say if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. On that, Simon, the success of the Premier League product, explosion of TV deals, fans charged up the yin-yang, would it be dangerous for league executives to take it all for granted?
I don't think they are taking it for granted. I mean, the league executives are not telling people to cross balls in so people can score from it, are they? They're not saying the way that teams should play. That's the composition of how the managers have set themselves up and what football's required of them.
Yeah.
And it is ridiculous with respect to Arne Slot to suggest that he has this wonderful moment in time just watching football for the sake of it.
Yeah.
You wanted to manage an elite football club. The business of winning is the business that you're in. You're well within your rights to go and manage a lesser club and enjoy what you watch all the time.
No, true. Brian, Forest fan, we'll finish with you, Brian, this morning. I was at Brighton at the weekend, sat quite near to your chairman, Nicholas Randall, and I'm sure Nick would agree this morning, the only thing that got us off our feet as far as Forest were concerned was Morgan Gibbs-White long-range goal, and it was a belter of a hit. Not much else. Are you bored to an extent by what you're seeing, not just from Forest, but generally in the Premier League then, Brian?
To be honest with you, first of all, thanks. It's a great show. Appreciate it. And a quick question for Simon. Simon, if I sent you a copy of your book, Be Careful What You Wish For, to talkSPORT Studio, will you sign it for me and send it back? Because that was a major inspiration for me when I bought it, to be honest.
Of course I will, mate. Thanks for reading it.
Lovely, spot on. And I recommend that to anybody else that's interested in football, because Simon blows the top of it as it was then. Fantastic.
So that's Simon's book, Be Careful What You Wish For. Still in all good bookshops at a very competitive price. Brian, thank you for that. What's your point, Brian?
First of all, yeah, Gibbs White, what a player. I mean, you can see him now, he's slightly trying to lead it. a bit better than what we've had in the past.
Yeah.
But question to you guys is, Forest, where are we? We've probably got the best midfield, one of the best midfields in the Premier League. But you look at Elliot Anderson, the guy's just tired, but his shooting is terrible. He can't hit a barn door from 30 yards. It's ridiculous. But moving on to other things, I think Slot, what he said, absolute garbage. I don't agree with that at all. I agree with what Simon said. But a quick question for Simon, and probably you as well, Jim, with the Scottish League. I've got fond memories of watching Johnny Metgod take free kicks, and Nigel Clough and Stan Collymore,
Stuart Pearce,
Stuart Pearce, battering players off, defenders. What's happened to these shot takers? What's happened to these free kick specialists? And why are we not seeing the Stuart Pearce fire a shot at Man United when we beat them 2-0 at Old Trafford?
It's a great point, Brian. It's a very good point, isn't it? Guys who are prepared to take on a shot from distance, Simon, and entertain. Peter Lorimer at Leeds from many years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we had the hardest,
about that?
He had the hardest shot in football, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, we are still. I mean, we saw Sabozlai score a goal earlier in the season against Arsenal. That was a worldie moment. We do see a lot of good goals.
True.
I mean, obviously, what happens now is you go to the extremes. You've got Slot going to one extreme, and we're going to go to the other extreme and say, well, hang on a second, what about this? Because there's a natural propensity to say, excuse me, Dutchman, coming into the English league and doing very well out of it. Who are you to tell what we think we've got? So we have to get it balanced, right? Don't we? We do have to get it balanced, right?
Yeah.
If we want to ask about clogs, we'll ask for your opinion.
Thanks for all the calls. It's 11:15.